Now let us see how we are going to do the representation of square root of 3 on the number line. So if you have done the representation for root 2 and root 5, you know how we represent these two on the number line. These represent the length of hypotenuse of a right triangle. So same way we want to think of a right triangle in which the hypotenuse will be root 3. So what I want to do is I want to write down 3 as the sum of 2 and 1. 2 can be written as the square of under root 2 and 1 can be written as the square of 1. So this is what I want to consider. I would be taking these values inside the roots as the base and the perpendicular for my right triangle. So if I have a right angle triangle in which the base is root 2, so if there is a right triangle whose base is root 2 and then there is perpendicular whose length is 1 unit. So what can you say about the hypotenuse of that right angle triangle? The hypotenuse for that triangle will be root 3, and you can verify that. If we don't find this, let's ignore this for the time being. Let's find out what will the hypotenuse be. So if I apply Pythagoras theorem in this triangle, in this particular triangle, so h square equals to p square plus b square. So I've got the perpendicular as 1 unit, the base as root 2 units, squaring both. So this is 1 plus 2, this is 3. So h square is 3. This actually means that the hypotenuse of this triangle is root 3. So this is what we want to do on the number line. I want to take my number line, and on the number line I would like to see where root 2 is. So I'll just show the integral values on the number line, and this is just a rough representation. We are going to construct this afterwards. So as I know, I want to take the base as root 2. So root 2 is approximately 1.4. So it will be somewhere here. I'll just show it with a different color. Let's just mark with this one. So it will be somewhere here. So if this point is taken as O, this point as A, so this distance will be root 2. And then at point A, I will construct a perpendicular. So I want a perpendicular at point A. So this is the perpendicular here. And what I want to do is I want to cut off 1 unit length along this perpendicular. Now I'm going to need this. So from here up to here. So we are going to cut off a distance or a segment. Let us say it's AB, and this distance should be 1 unit. And then this length of the hypotenuse will be root 3, and later I want to copy this onto the number line. So I'm just going to copy it onto the number line, and somewhere here I'm going to obtain a point which represents root 3. So starting from 0 up to this point over here, this will be root 3, and this is what I'm going to do on the number line. Now the issue is, if I want to construct this triangle, I want the base to be root 2, but root 2 is not visible on the number line as such. You have to show it. You cannot see root 2 just directly on the number line if you are just marking the integers. What we want to do is, the first step will be to show root 2 on the number line. So this will be your step number 1. You're going to construct root 2 on the number line, and then after that we are going to construct root 3. So let us see how we are going to do this. So let's start with a line. So I've got a line here. let's mark 0 here. So towards the right is the positive side, towards the left is the negative side. And I want to divide this number line into equal parts. I can do that with the help of the ruler. I will be marking points. You can take one unit as 3 centimeters, 4 centimeters, 5 centimeters, whichever is convenient. I'm going to take one unit as 3 centimeters. So I just take my compass and open it to a radius 3 centimeters. It's already 3 here. So let's lock it. And then I'm just going to draw arcs. And then further from now this point, I'm again going to draw an arc. This divides my number line into equal parts, and these equal parts can later be numbered so that I have a number line. So let's show the negative side too. You can show 1 or 2 numbers on the negative side. So let's just bring it here and then draw an arc. So I've just shown 1 here. Let's put it away. So as for now, I've got 1 here. This is 2. This is 3. This is 4 on the positive side, and this over here is -1. So first step is to represent root 2, and root 2 will be represented by a triangle with base as 1 and the perpendicular as 1. So this is what I want to construct. So I'm just going to mark the starting point. So this is O, so I'm naming my triangle here, and this is A and this is B. So I want to construct OAB here. So this is O, I'm taking this point as A, the point which represents 1. So in that way, this distance is 1 unit, and I want to now construct a perpendicular at A. So I'm just going to take the help of the compass. I'll construct the perpendicular. So adjusting the radius, let's fix it. We're not going to change the radius for this. So I want to construct a 90-degree angle here. You all are aware how to do that. So we are going to use the points which represent 60 and 120, and their intersection will give me 90 degrees. So now I just want to bring my ruler and join the vertex with this angle here. Place it vertically along these 2 points, and then just draw a line. Just a minute. So this is the perpendicular here. So what I have now is I have a perpendicular at point A. So I have done 1 unit base, I have done the right angle. Now I want to find out point B. So somewhere along this perpendicular, I need to find point B such that the distance of that point, so somewhere here will be B point, and AB will be 1 unit in length. And again, I'm going to take the help of the compass. So let's just bring the compass here. So I want to open my compass 1 unit in radius. So this is 1 unit, and then locking it, let's take it up. So right along the perpendicular, I'm going to draw an arc, and this point here represents point B, and this distance, the vertical distance from point A up to point B, this distance is 1 unit. So now I want to complete my triangle by joining point B with point O. So let's use the ruler for the same. Now join these two, adjusting. So we want to join point O with point P. Putting away the ruler, this hypotenuse is root 2. So now what I want to do is I want to now move on to representing root 2 on the number line. So to represent root 2 on the number line, I want to copy the length of this line segment onto the number line. For that, I'm going to use the compass again. So I will just open the compass of this radius. Let me change its radius. So open the compass of this length from O to point P. So this right here is OB, and we want to keep the radius same now. If you want, you can just do it with a different color. So this is what we have. So let's just draw an arc with this radius. And let's put it away. So this point over here is point C, and from 0 up to point C is root 2 on the number line. Now I move on to step number 2. Step 2 is now to show root 3, and root 3 actually is the hypotenuse of a right triangle whose base is root 2 and the perpendicular is 1 unit in length. And looking over the number line, this will be 0 and this will be C. As you can see here, from point O up to point C, the distance, the length is root 2. So that will be the base of my second triangle. And then let's take this as point D. I will want to construct now this triangle. So the next step is to construct a perpendicular here. I already have the base with me. Base is already there. OC. At C, I need a right angle. So for this, I'm going to use the compass again. Let's bring it at point C. Change the radius. So at C point, I'm going to lock the radius. Let's use a different color. Let's go with this one. So I want to draw a semicircle at this point. So as you can see, now there's a little intersection here. So be a little careful when that happens. So I want to draw arcs for 60. I think I've changed the radius. Let's check if the radius is same. Okay, so let's fix it. And I now want to show 60 degrees. Then I want to go ahead and find the point for 120. Now this is going to be a little complicated, so do it very carefully. So I want an arc right over here also on the top. So I'll just do it further for 90 degree, and then I take it here for 120 degree. And let's draw the intersection. So as you can see, already can see the points. So this is the point from where I draw the semicircle. From C point, I have drawn the semicircle. From this point, I obtained this one. From here, I have obtained this point. From these 2 points, you have to draw this cross. And now this point will be joined with this one, vertically upwards, to obtain a perpendicular. For that, I'm going to use the ruler, placing it along these 2 points, aligning properly, and then just drawing a line here. So this is the perpendicular at C. Now along, I have this as the base here. As you can see, I have constructed a perpendicular at C. This is also done. This angle, right angle at C, this is also done. The next step is to obtain CD. So along this perpendicular, I want to cut off a length 1 centimeters or 1 unit, which will give me point T. Again, I'm going to take the help of the compass. Open your compass 1 unit in length. So I'm just going to take the help of these 2 points over here. So let's adjust the radius. Now this is 1 unit. Fixing it. Let's change the color. Okay. So now I want to cut off from here, from point C. And then let's take it upwards and now draw an arc. putting the compass away. This point here is point B, and the length CD, as you can see in this triangle over here, this length is 1 unit, the vertical length from point C to point D. And then I want to join D with point O, this hypotenuse for this triangle OD. OD will be root 3. So for that, I will just use the ruler. Point O with point D. And I'm going to do it in black now. So let's join point O with point D. If you want, I can just thicken it so that it's easier to see. This here, OD, this represents square root of 3. And now I want to copy it onto the number line, and to copy it I would like to use the compass again. So we want to change the radius. We want to now open it up to this point from O to D. So as you can see, OD actually represents root 3 here. So this is what I'm going to copy onto the number line. Fixing the radius, draw an arc right from here. And this point, this is a coincidence that it is intersecting a point already on the number line. Let's mark this point as E. So from point O, from here up to point E, we have the distance as root 3. Now there is another way we can represent root 3 on the number line. The first few steps are the same. The first thing we want to do is we want to represent square root of 2 on the number line, and square root of 2 will be represented as the hypotenuse of a right triangle whose base is 1 unit and the perpendicular is also 1 unit. So let's first of all draw a number line. Let's name the line as L. I'm taking this point as 0 here, and I want to divide my line into equal parts with the help of the compass, and I'll be choosing a suitable radius, and let's just align it using the compass. So I'll just open the compass. Let's do it with 5 centimeters now. This will be a little easier. Okay. So I want to divide my line into equal parts. So if we go ahead, you will see that now we are going to cross here, and this is a positive side. Let's show the negative side as well, if we can. Yeah. So putting this away, this represents 1, and this represents 2, this represents 3, and on the negative side I have -1. I'm going to name the triangle that I want to construct as O, A, and B. So right now this is O, this point is A, and this acts as the base of the triangle that I want to construct. So base OA, 1 unit. I want a perpendicular at A. For that, I'm going to use a compass. Let's take a suitable radius for the construction of 90 degree. Drawing the semicircle. And then with the same radius, we want to do 60. Taking it further, this is 120 and a little arc from 120 on the top. Let's do the same from this point. Using the ruler, this is the perpendicular. Now I have obtained a right angle at A. Now I want to obtain point B. Over here along the perpendicular, I'll be cutting off one unit to obtain that. Let's open the compass 1 unit in length. This is 1 unit for me right now. So let's take it up here and draw an arc. So this here represents point B, and the distance of this point is 1 unit from point A. And now I want to complete the triangle. I have obtained the base as 1 unit. I have constructed 90-degree angle at A. I have obtained AB also. I want to complete the triangle by joining OB, which will represent root 2. So let's join this point with point B. So this represents square root of 2. Now what I want to do is, at this step, I usually copy it onto the number line. So I'm not going to copy it onto the number line. I'm moving on to step 2, which is to represent root 3 as the hypotenuse of a right triangle in which the base is square root of 2 and the perpendicular is 1. And what I'm going to do is, I'm going to name this triangle as O, B and C. So the hypotenuse of this triangle is now the base for this triangle. So I'm going to take this side as the base. This will be now the base, and I want a perpendicular here, and then the triangle will be over here. So I want to construct 90-degree angle at point B. I have the base as root 2, OB. At B, I want a 90-degree angle. That will be my next step. So let's construct a 90-degree angle at B. D will be the center here. You can take a suitable radius. And then from this point, this is 60, taking it further, this is 120, and I want to obtain a point here. So yeah, this is, and then join this. Let's take the ruler. Do it very carefully. this is the perpendicular at B. So this angle here is now 90 degrees. So I have the base for this triangle OB. At B, I have 90-degree angle. That's also done. The next step is to obtain C. So C will be somewhere along this perpendicular, the red one, which is at point B, and I want to obtain C so that BC is 1 unit in length. And for that, I'm going to take the help of the compass again. Let's open it 1 unit in length. This is 1 unit. And I want to cut off from point B here. So placing the compass at point B and cutting it along this. This point represents C, and the distance of point C from point B is 1 unit. I've got BC as 1 unit here. Now I want to join C with O because OC is the hypotenuse that I want to show. So let's join it with the help of the ruler. This represents root 3, and now I want to copy it onto the to copy it onto the number line, I'm going to use the compass again. Place your compass here, open it to the size of OC. This is root 3. Now my compass has radius root 3, and I'm just going to draw an arc from here up to the number line. So this is this point here represents root 3. You can give it a name. Let's say this is M. So the distance of OM is square root of 3. If you want, you could have shown root 2 also. To show root 2, you would need to open the compass of this length. This is now root 2, and you can copy it onto the number line. This, let's say, is P, then OP will represent root 2. And going further, you can keep continuing to construct triangles in such way, and you will obtain further values, root 2, root 3, then you will obtain root 4, then root 5, root 6, root 7, so on and so forth.